Yeah, go ahead, please.
All right, Alhamduli'llah, min ash-shaytanir rajim. Bismillahir-rahmanir-rahim. Alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah. Bismillahir-rahmanir-rahim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. Bismillahir-rahmanir-rahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Ar-rahmanir-rahim. Maliki yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdinas siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta 'alaihim ghayril maghdubi 'alaihim waladdallin. Ameen. All right. So are we starting with a separate reflection, Sister Fauzia, or we just
I
jumping
don't have a
straight?
reflection, but let's just do impromptu reflection. You can lead it, inshallah. It's been a while.
It has. It has. It's amazing how time, subhanAllah, because once you miss one, it becomes a month,
Yeah.
right? But yeah. Um, I guess that's what we can reflect on, and it's just the idea of how if you don't take advantage of time, you lose it.
Mm.
Um, because so I have a personal reflection, and it's not to expose myself, it's more to like reflect, right? So because so like usually during the school year I'm like, I'm busy, right? I'm busy with with school, because I do teach full time, and I always struggle with like, with keeping up with my Quran, keeping up with, exercise and all that. So I keep telling myself, oh, it's summertime, mashallah, I'm gonna be free. Do you know that I've been home like over a month and done nothing?
Maybe you've been resting. How about that?
Okay, give me an excuse, Sister Fauzia. That's exactly.
I'm all about rest, taking rest when you need to, because life comes at you fast.
It does. Well, true, but I'm finding out that we make time for the things that are important,
Hmm.
right? So it's basically just me. Like I need to have some kind of personal, conversation with myself and get myself together because I have exactly 1 month left of my break,
Oh.
and then school starts again. And if I haven't made time for it now, when I'm on vacation, like when? So there's a deeper issue going on, and it's that idea of procrastination, I think
Mm.
that's the big issue that I have, where like just kind of like making this excuse of, oh yeah, tomorrow, and then tomorrow just never comes, and apparently I have it bad because after a month, I mean I do sporadically, but not um not as consistently. So just a reminder to myself and to everyone, like time really is going fast. It's not waiting for anyone.
Mm.
And then I'm here right at this weekend, taking care of my dad. And I see so much myself in him, because just the procrastination, the not exercising, and then my dad is not 80 yet, but he's already like really, really, really dependent, you know? And I'm like, oh my goodness, am I looking literally at myself in a few years? Because, like and I'm like, if you don't, exercise as an adult, while you still can, you're gonna be more fragile later, right? So I feel like it's all those effects cumulative, and I'm like, I kid you not, I'm like seeing myself in my
Mm.
father thinking, oh my goodness, is this gonna be me? So it's almost like a wake-up call, like being here this weekend, I'm like, oh my God, I need to, because when you take care of your health early, and this reminds me of the take five before five, then you're able to you know, um you're more able to be healthy, or you're going to be healthier bismillah, in your old age, because your muscles don't atrophy as quickly, you don't weaken as quickly because you've maintained it, right? So I
Yeah.
think we all have to do that. I don't know how old y'all are. Maybe I'm the oldest in this gathering right now.
No, you're not.
But but I'm almost 50, and I'm like, oh my God, I am not getting any younger. So it's just that realization that the Prophet ﷺ spoke the truth. Like, take care of five before five, sisters. Take care of five before five. Your free time before you get busy. Because here I am now. My free time, I'm gonna be busy in about 4 weeks. I'm like, oh my God, I need to get it together.
Yeah.
Your health before your sickness, your youth before your old age. I'm like, I am almost 50. Where did the time go? It's like, subhanallah. I remember when Fazia was in her 20s when we met. Like, come on, sister, you're not too far behind me.
I'm not.
So we gotta
Oh
get this
my
thing
gosh.
together. Oh my
It's
God,
been
it's like,
over 20 years. It's
I
almost
know.
25 years.
Yes, my son is 25. I'm like, when we met, he was like a toddler. So, not to dump on y'all, sisters, but I'm serious. It's like a light bulb moment for me. Like, oh my God, time does, it does go fast, and we really, really need to just, just get on top of this stuff. That hadith is so true. So,
Yeah.
so true. And your life, if like all those things are accumulated, right? And then before you know it, it's like life before death. And now you're like at the end of your life, and you have to sit back and be like, what did I do? What did I? Because once you're old and weak, you can't really do much anymore, right? You might want to, you might have regrets, but there's not that much you can do anymore. So we have to do it now while we're still young, quote unquote, because I don't even feel that anymore. So, yeah, subhanallah. Um,
SubhanAllah.
yeah,
Anyone
so that's my
else
reflection,
want to add?
sisters.
Anyone else want
So
to add to this
this one's
reflection?
personal. Yeah, please, please do. Maybe I'll get some motivation from someone because
Salam
I'm like,
alaikum,
man.
Diraya.
Assalamu alaikum, Sister Daria. How are you?
Walaikum salam wa barakatuh.
I think you're the youngest, so I'm gonna put you on the spot. Go
Oh
ahead.
Lord. Oh.
You
Because
haven't
I
even
feel
hit
Uh,
like
40
time
yet.
goes faster as you
Wait,
get older, right?
have you even hit 40 yet? Diraya.
December, inshallah.
Inshallah. Okay, so
Oh
you're
wow,
still
you're a
young.
baby. Oh my goodness. MashaAllah.
MashaAllah.
Yeah. So you made really, really good points. And one thing that I'm learning as I'm entering perimenopause is it's so important to lift weights and to like build
Yeah.
muscle because somebody said that one of the hidden, like major hidden causes of death in older people is muscle atrophy. They
Mm-hmm.
can't sustain themselves. They can't even hold their own body because their muscles have deteriorated so badly. So inshallah, that's like my big focus now, just building muscle strength because it also helps with bone strength and all that. So
That is so
may
true.
Allah make it easy.
Ameen. Ameen.
I mean,
Sister Bola, Sister Sharima, what you got to add?
I mean, what Philistine and
she's the one to
Kadeem
tell us
said
that
is
she works out every
all
day.
true. No,
MashaAllah.
I do not. I need to.
I'm just teasing.
So
I know.
your reminder is also for me. I'm like, man, I need to start. At least let me even take walks. Let me start. Let me start doing what Dr. Fauzia does. Let me take walks.
Right?
I need. Yeah, every day I'm like, okay, it's too hot. It's too this. It's too that. So you're right. We all procrastinate. May Allah make it easy for us and.
Ameen,
Amen.
Ya
Amen.
Rabbi.
It's by His grace. So let's keep asking Him to help us make it easy.
Amen. Amen.
Definitely reminding each other. Assalamu alaikum, Sister Tila. Well, thanks for joining. We're just
Assalamualaikum.
reflecting right now on the issue, the concept of time, subhanAllah. Sister Shirima, I think you want to say something. Go ahead.
Yeah, assalamu alaikum. I
Alaikum
was just going to say that, you know, it's like, yeah, I realize that I've surpassed probably the 60% mark of, what Allahu alam of what my lifespan will likely be.
Mhm.
And I still have dreams and aspirations. And on one hand, I'll stop and think to myself, am I too old to start this? I mean, it does go through my mind. I still move forward, but I'm just like, where did the time go?
Yep.
And why didn't I start this 10 years ago, 20 years ago? You know? I don't know. I think I spent a lot of my youth chasing whatever the corporate dream or whatever, trying to, acquire whatever. And now I'm at a point in my life where, you know, other things matter. The quality of my life matters. Like all money ain't good money. you know, that matters to me, where my risk comes from, where my earnings come from. All of that matters to me a lot as I get older, but I just to some extent feel like there's a part of my life that I wasted. I'm sorry to say, but
Oh, if you want to
I,
say wasted.
Well, I
I
think it's a
squandered.
valid reflection, though.
I squandered. It's not just say, I mean, life is about having regrets. You can regret some of the decisions that you made in the past. It doesn't mean that you didn't learn and grow from it.
Okay.
But I
Yeah,
wish I
that's
had,
the point I was trying to pull out of
yeah,
it.
yeah, I definitely have, but I wish I had the wisdom back then and the knowledge to have made better decisions for myself. Yeah, I'll say that.
So we'll start today, Miss Sister Sharima, because you're not
Well,
old yet. It's
no, I've already started. I've already started that process, but still, I'm like, oh.
look at me saying start today. Like that's for me first. Like subhanallah. But anyway, yeah. Hopefully,
My my 2 cents to this would be first, I don't want us to be too hard on ourselves. I'm always looking at the cup half, half full rather than half empty. The
right.
fact that you're even thinking about it, mashallah, is a huge step. You recognize it, and you want to do something about it.
Yeah.
Um, I've definitely not been as consistent as I would like to be, but I think I'm also learning to give myself grace and not so when I'm not feeling so well, no, I'm not gonna go for a walk. I'm just gonna sit and take care of my body because I'm no good if I go for the walk or do the exercise or whatever, and my body's acting a certain kind of way. It's just gonna make it worse, right? But one nugget I would like to leave, and this has been like my little secret, is find a way to be accountable for whatever it is you want to do, be it Quran. So sister Hussein, I remember during Ramadan, I was like, because mashallah, during Ramadan, I was on it, like reading every day, reading Quran every day. And of course it's gotten down to not every single day. And I remember when we had that conversation in Mecca, and I was like, I'm not gonna put every day as my thing. I don't know if I can commit to every day, but I'll try. And I kept kind of like hitting a reset. I've been resetting my intention, since then. And I've come down to, you know what, a Jews a month. And you know how I got to that? So first of all, and Sister Hussein and Sister Sherman, you're part of the group, like the daily reading group where you post. When I see people posting and it's like, I've not posted, it's a day has passed, 2 days, I'm like, oh, I gotta get on my Quran. So that's my motivation. And I don't know if it'll work for you, but these are things that worked for me. That's been my motivation. But another thing is, but I realized, oh, that's it. I realized I couldn't do the daily one. I could not commit to daily because I just know that the way my life is set up, the daily was not gonna work. So then there was another group I had the opportunity to join, and it's a group, it's more of a huge community group where they ask you to pick a Jews. And the idea is to complete the Quran as a community every month. So this person picks a Jews, this person, I was like, oh, that's a good way to me. One thing I know about myself, I don't like to disappoint folks, right? I don't want to be the one person who did not finish her Jews. And then the community's looking at you. They probably won't look at me that way, but it's in my head like they're gonna be looking at me like, why she ain't post like she finished yet? So I've learned over the months, over my life, whatever, over the years, what motivates me, and I know that that's a motivation for me. I don't like to disappoint people, and I always need that reminder. I need something to push me if it's on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, to do what I need to do. So what I would encourage, because I know I'm such a problem solver, subhanallah, is find that
That's a
thing
good
that
way.
would motivate you to do what you're supposed to do. Sister Husseina, if walking on an almost daily basis, because I don't want to put daily basis on someone because I just know it's unrealistic, honestly. If walking more frequently is your thing, is there someone you can call up or someone who can call you and be like, have you walked today? We did this at one point where we called it accountability partners. Remember? That was a while ago. Um,
Yeah.
Right. And it worked. Like it worked for some time. Like this is me. Like whatever's working for that time, I'm gonna stick to it. Like we would call each other and be like, you want to go to the gym or you want to work out? And just coming up with ideas.
Yeah.
And it will always change. I think I've had to learn that over the years that just because I found something that worked for me right now in this moment doesn't mean it's gonna work 2 years from now. And I've had to learn to be open to change. And I know for me anyway, change can be hard. It's like, oh, I gotta change, I gotta pivot. Another thing is when I'm not able to reach the goals that I've set or the ideals that I've set for myself, not to beat myself up over it, because what good does that do? It's not going to make anything better. But Sister Cheryl, now that the way you put it, like you've lived probably 60% of your life, I was like, now I'm reflecting on myself like, dang, yeah, that's true. I probably lived more than 50% of my lifespan. But another thing, and watching you, Sister Shirima, subhanAllah, you motivate me in so many ways. I don't think you even know that. You're taking classes, you're taking Arabic classes. I dropped out of my Arabic class a long time ago. So I dropped out a long time ago, but I'm looking like she's still doing it, mashallah. So
I believe in lifetime learning.
yeah, that
Lifetime
don't
learning.
that's the whole thing. Don't underestimate the power of people looking at you and saying, and you being a way, motivating other people to do what they really admire and see you doing. SubhanAllah. It's not always going to be easy, but I think we just all need to be open-minded and not, please don't beat yourself up about it. And Sister Hosseina and I were just talking about our moms, planning a trip. Sisterhood, like I'm realizing the importance of having it. Those women have a sense of, they have a sisterhood in their 60s, 70s. We need to keep the sisterhood going because who else? We only have ourselves, mashallah, as we get older. And I tell folks, especially when we go for the monthly walks with the sisters, I'm like, y'all are my retirement plan. Because
Right.
when we're all retired and doing nothing else, I want to be able to be like, there, can we go for a walk? So and
I
so.
just need to move to Maryland.
That we don't mind. We would love to have you. Mashallah. But honestly, wherever you are, you do have to step out of your comfort zone and try to build. I've lived in different places and I've realized that maybe it is a personality thing. I just have that personality of I love being in community with other women. I love being in I love to feel that sense of sisterhood wherever I am. Sometimes you have to push yourself because I think I also realized early enough that this does a lot of good for me. So I'm not ruminating. I'm not all in my head all the time. The only one place I've lived in that I was never really able to successfully do that was when I lived in Buffalo. And I think maybe it was because I was pregnant at that time and it was just difficult. And it snowed every single day of winter. Like I was like, this is depressing. But every other time, mashallah, I've always had that push to try to get to know people and build community outside of my home. Maybe also it's because my house is filled with boys. I have only boys and my husband. So I've always wanted that feminine energy. Like, let me go out and seek this because I'm the only one. So that I'm just sharing like the things I think has helped me. But I really do want to encourage us all not to be too hard on ourselves and to get out of your comfort zone. Even if it's once in a while. Um, and see where that helps you land. Sorry, Dara, I think you're muted. Maybe you had something to add.
No, I just wanted to say thank you all for this advice, and please, like, sometimes when we're younger, people who are older than us tell us things, and we're like, oh, whatever, like we'll do. But I'm at the age now where I'm like, okay, the advice people give us actually makes sense. They're speaking from personal experience, and you don't
Right,
want to wait till you're actually going through it to learn the lesson.
right.
So thank you all, and please continue to share.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
Assalamu alaikum, mommy. Kawan.
Assalamualaikum. Welcome.
All right, well, thank you for adding your thoughts on that. Inshallah, the reminder benefits benefits everyone. Inshallah. Alhamdulillah.
May Allah make it easy.
Mashallah. Okay, so we can start with the book. So we're gonna start with
Page
page
37,
37.
inshallah. And you
Okay.
all have the link. I shared the link in the group chat for the electronic version. Maybe we can do a quick review, Sister Husseina, of um, the unit we're on, Al-Malik. Okay, Al-Malik, Malikul Mulk. I hope I said it correctly.
Um, do you want to do that?
Yes, no, you. I'm messing up the pronunciation. You think I can do this? MashaAllah.
Um, okay, hold on. So I'm trying to pull up my book.
You have the link,
Uh,
right? You want me to put the
I
link in the
do.
chat?
No, I have it open on my computer. I'm not successful trying to share it on my screen.
Oh, you should be able to. Bismillah.
Yeah, there's something. I think it's because it's a brand new computer, so I have not figured it out. Um, so I don't know. I might have to. Maybe you might have to share it for us, Howzia, because I don't want to waste the time
No problem.
because it is on my screen, and I'm looking right at it, but I'm not able to. Show it's not working for me to share with everyone.
No problem. Let me put this on the right screen and then share. Mm, okay. You guys can see it, right? Just need to make it bigger.
Yes.
Uh,
So you can put it on 37, inshallah. Okay, so we were talking about Al-Malik and just the idea of sovereignty, um, you know, and that is the one who has complete control over everything, which obviously is Allah. And then there's Al-Malik and Al-Malik, right? So we had to clarify that the last time. And wait, hold on, I'm still on the wrong page. This is 20. Okay, one second.
mhm.
So, okay, so I'm there now, Al-Malik. Okay, so the difference between Al-Malik, right? Al-Malik is the possessor and Al-Malik is the king, right? And so the possessor is the one who owns it, right? But the king is just the one who is kind of like, you know, like you have power over your subjects, but you don't own them, right? So it's like it's two different things. But then it was explained that the Allah is Malik al-Mulk, like he's the possessor and the sovereign. So Allah's uh, Allah he holds both the Malik and the Malik. So not only is he the king, he's also the possessor and he owns everything. So Allah's power is absolute, right? Because the example that was given is like sometimes you own something but you can't do whatever you want with it. For example, maybe like you might have you might own your home, right? Because but you have an HOA, so you can't really, do stuff kind of follow certain rules, right? And even though you are you're Al-Malik, the king, you have subjects, but then, you don't control every single aspect of their lives, even though they should, listen to you. But it's not like a complete ownership or a complete sovereign, right? So this is the difference where the king doesn't own every single thing, and sometimes he's not even able to get complete loyalty from his subjects, right? So Allah is free from all of those, because again, not only does he, reign sovereign, he's complete, so there are limitations based on what we can do, but Allah does not have those limitations. So that's the reminder. And then Malik al-Mulk is, the king and the sovereign. So the sovereignty is the mulk, right? And Allah is all of that. So subhanallah, I thought, that was a good reminder, because a lot of people, there's certain names that you cannot share with Allah, right? And people say, Abdul Malik and Malik, but for Allah, it's that is he's the only one that cannot share the that kind of majesty, the sovereign, because everything does indeed belong to him, and everything does indeed go back to him, right? So yeah, so that's what I'm remembering from what we took so far. So I'm gonna go to page 37. Um, okay. So we're starting from I'm on. Can everybody see the screen? Okay, Sister Fauzia, you're on.
Can you see it? This is
I see it.
37.
That is 37. Okay.
God, the
It's kind of
Almighty.
confusing because it says 65 at the top.
Oh yeah, don't look at that. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. All
Because
right.
it's
So,
because of all the pre-pages.
right, right. Okay. All right. So whoever thinks that they are the sole owner of the things over which they appear to have power, and that they may dispose of things in the way that they like without paying heed to Allah's rules, Allah is the owner of them. Whatever possessions we might have are ultimately Allah's, and so we will be asked what we did with Allah's possessions. And subhanallah, this is it's very profound, because how many things do we feel like we own them, but then we don't really own them, because we're going to be accountable to Allah for them. So that's another thing to definitely reflect upon. Even as we were talking about, oh, you know what, taking care of our bodies before old age and all that. Allah owns this body, and we're going to account to him, right? And we're gonna go back and say, what do we do with the wealth? What do we do with the children? What do we do with the body? That's an amana. Subhanallah. So there is nothing that we can say, oh, I own it, and therefore I do whatever I want with it. Every single thing belongs to Allah. So who's the true sovereign then? It's definitely not us. In Surah Baqarah, we are told, have you not considered the one who argued with Ibrahim about his Lord because Allah had given him kingship? When Ibrahim said, my Lord is the one who gives life and causes death, he said, I give life and cause death. Ibrahim said, indeed, Allah brings up the sun from the east, so bring it up from the west. So the disbeliever was overwhelmed, and Allah does not guide the wrongdoing people. I remember this story in Surah Al-Baqarah. This king who, he believed that, oh, he can give life and take life because he can spare one person, so that's giving him life, and they can kill someone, so that's taking life, you know. And it's interesting because even though there are some qualities that we share with Allah, like being generous, or maybe having ownership of something, or there's certain things that most things we do not share with Allah. So when this king is getting cocky, Ibrahim had to remind him, okay, can you bring the sun? Can you bring it from the west? And obviously he could not do that. So, that was like a nice slap on the face for this king, thinking that he has the power. So that also is something that should, be a constant reminder about, Allah's sovereign power, and how, ultimately we do have to answer to Allah. Everyone who plays the role of a king or who has ownership over anything must remember that there is the one above who has ultimate sovereignty over everything. I remember last halaqah we were talking about this, that wouldn't it be nice if everybody remembered that, like all the kings of the world and all the Trumps of the world and all the, tyrants, like if they all remembered that, ultimately what they have belongs to Allah, and they're going to answer to Allah at the end of, of their lives. What a beautiful world it would be. All right, so it should cause fear in the hearts of the unjust and relief in the hearts of the oppressed. The ownership of the tyrant is necessarily temporary, and they will have to deal with their maker, right? So that's I remember that's another thing we talked about last time, was just having that peace and knowledge and conviction that whatever tyrants, whatever power they have is temporary. And especially if we're being oppressed, and we know that Allah is gonna, take he's going to eventually right the wrongs of the oppressed, and the du'as of the oppressed are answered as well. So so the relief in our hearts should be because we know that whatever power that person has, they have it only because Allah has given that permission, and Allah can take it at any time, right? So yeah, that should definitely give us some relief in that knowledge, that certainty, that whatever tyranny that they're doing, it cannot last forever. And ultimately everyone returns to Allah. Okay, so this is not just directed to the tyrants of the world. We will all eventually die, cutting off our links to those things which we think we own, whereas Allah's ownership is enduring. This teaches us not to be so attached to our possessions. Subhanallah. SubhanAllah, SubhanAllah. This teaches us to not be so attached to our possessions, knowing that we will all ultimately return to Him. Furthermore, whatever we give away, which in essence was given to us by God, by Allah, is returned to us in one form or another because He is the owner and can return things and multiply them. Indeed, anytime one gives away his or her possessions for the sake of Allah, He may multiply it for him in many times over. This is a great reminder because whatever we give, in Allah's, fi sabilillah, is returned to us. Allah multiplies the reward. But what I also want to remember is that what we give is actually what's ours. And I know I've said this reminder many times in this halaqah, but it's something that I try to let drive me, that knowledge, that realization that what we hold on to is not really ours, because once we die and everything is left, it's either someone's gonna, take it, maybe the government is gonna take it, maybe is, inheritance or whatever. But what we give is actually what helps us on Yawm al-Qiyamah. Like, how much more charity would we do if we had that realization that what you give is what's yours, and that's the reminder from the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, where he asked the companions, which one of you would like to take care of his, I'm paraphrasing, but his brother's things and leave his own. And the companion said, "Oh, Ya Rasulullah, we definitely would not want to do that." And then he told them that what they give is what's theirs, So because that's what is going to be waiting for you on Yawm al-Qiyamah. That's going to be on your mountain of good deeds. So basically, when we when we don't whatever we're holding on to, that that we're thinking we're taking care of, we're saving and all that, that's the one that's not really for us yet, until we do something with it, right? So yeah, just I think that's a great reminder that not only do we only own what we give, but that what we give is then multiplied for us. So it's like a win-win, right? A win-win. Moreover, knowing that Allah is Malik al-Mulk teaches us to whom to turn. In a telling Hadith Qudsi, Allah tells us, okay, so this is the Hadith Qudsi: "Oh, my servants, if the first of you and the last of you, humans and jinn, were as God-fearing as the most God-fearing person there is, this would not increase in my dominion in the least. O my servants, if the first of you and the last of you, humans and jinn, were as sinful as the most sinful person there is, this would not decrease in my dominion in the least. O my servants, if the first of you and the last of you, humans and jinn, were to stand as one and ask of me, and I were to give each person what he asked for, it would not diminish what I have any more than the ocean would be diminished if a needle were dipped into it." Subhanallah. Subhanallah. Yeah, so there we go. We can't diminish Allah's what Allah has, and giving what Allah gives doesn't, it's like nothing to him, and Allah, there's no cap for what Allah can give. Subhanallah. That's just, Alhamdulillah. This hadith starts off with Allah telling us that He is not in need of our worship, right? Um, and and this is a reminder that something I try to remember, and just encourage people to reflect on that our worship is for us. It's not, it doesn't, it doesn't increase Allah or decrease Allah in anything. So we're not doing Allah a favor basically by, by our worship. We're just helping our own selves. So whenever we start feeling that, reluctance, maybe to make those extra rakahs, maybe to pray on time or to give or whatever it is, that constitutes, good deeds. Whenever we feel that slight reluctance that comes from the shaitan, to make us not want to do those things, we have to remember that we're doing it for our own selves. And why would you be stingy to your own self, right? So, and not only that, we should even be afraid that is Allah going to accept it, So not only should we do that good deed, but do it with sincerity and, and the correct intention. So subhanallah, it's kind of because, and that's one thing that I remember from the Prophet Sallallahu companions. Like, not only would they do good deeds, but they would actually be scared that maybe Allah might not accept it from them. And and they were very as sincere as they were. And us, we do one thing and we like feel like we're the greatest. Like, oh yeah, we're so proud of ourselves. Where subhanallah, we have not only, yes, we've done that good deed, but has Allah accepted it? We don't know, and we'll find out on Yawm al-Qiyamah. But everything that makes that good deed sincere, everything that makes it more likely that Allah accepts it from us, that's what we should be worried about. If the moment there's riyah in it, there's doing things for show, Allah rejects it. So even as we're doing something, especially if it's something that people know about, we have to be very, very careful and start checking our intention. And when the intention changes, because sometimes that happens where your intention changes in the midst of an act, we have to make istighfar and bring it back, so that Allah doesn't reject that thing. And subhanallah, may Allah accept it from us and just make it easy, because we have to be so intentional about making our goods pure for Allah, because we want those things on Yawm al-Qiyamah. We want to see those good deeds that we did, and we want them to be, on our scale of good deeds, and accepted by Allah. All right. The hadith then ends with something beautiful. Any human we go to for help or to fulfill our needs is necessarily limited and may or may not be able to give us what we need. Allah tells us that His possession is not limited and does not diminish with giving. So always ask Him. Ask Him with the certainty that it is easy for Him to give you, easier than it is for a billionaire to give you spare change, subhanAllah. And with the humility of knowing that you truly do not own anything. So yeah, subhanAllah, that's a great reminder. Because Allah is the only one who can really give us without limit, right? Without limit. All right. Okay, so my choice, when we understand who Allah is and that He is the ultimate owner, we should rethink popular mantras and slogans. Some slogans contain both truth and falsehood and are used for both what we consider good and bad. For example, is my body my choice, which represents the ideals of bodily autonomy and self-ownership? That's a good reflection, and I feel like it almost ties into what we're talking about. So my body, my choice, because people do so many things right now, these days, that are definitely not, necessarily good for their bodies. And they just feel like, yeah, my body, my choice, right? Whatever I want to do. But we know that that's not the case, that we actually have to answer Allah, to Allah. So subhanallah. Let me see, where was I? It is used in conversations around a woman's right to abortion and to sexual consent and against gender-based violence. However, it is also used more generally as a blanket statement to reject anything that seems to be interference, even if it comes in the form of spiritual advice around notions of modesty. Wait, hold on. Even if it comes in the form of spiritual advice around notions of modesty and how we use our bodies. As Muslims, we need to think deeply about the meanings of these popular rallying cries, whether we are of those who outright reject or outright accept them. Our bodies are ours in so much as they have been given to us by Allah, but they are not completely ours to dispose of as we wish. And this applies to both men and women. Okay, so I see this as a reflection about, how people say, oh, you know what, it's my body. I can expose it if I want. I can do whatever I want with it. If I want to mark it up or all up with tattoos, it's mine. If I want to, walk around basically naked with whatever, it's my body. And that's the ideal they sell to us, right? But we, as Muslims, we know better. We know better. If I want to inject poisonous substances and drugs and all that, it's my body. But that's really, really not true. So because again, Allah is going to ask us about these things, so to say, oh, it's my body, if I can flaunt it however I want is actually incorrect. Alhamdulillah for Islam that teaches us otherwise, because imagine a world where everybody does whatever they want because it's me, it's my body, it's my money, it's my whatever, then it's just chaos, like total chaos. And that's the thing that human beings almost, fail to realize that we cannot just let our desires be our Lord. Like we can't just follow our desires. Like literally, where does it stop? If you don't, excuse me, if we don't have a compass, if we don't have a guideline, if we don't have something that anchors us, then we will literally do whatever you know I mean people who do I mean I hate to even bring this up, but people who do like relationships in groups and everything, and they're swapping husbands and having threesomes and fivesomes and all that nonsense, like because it's literally because they believe that they can do whatever they want. It's their body, it's their life, and there is absolutely no accountability, and once you have that, there is no limit. There is no limit. Like you can literally do whatever you want without without thinking, and that's very, very, very dangerous. It's just like a slippery slope that people keep going under, and then when they look up, they're like, okay, how did I get here? But it's because you allowed your desires to be your king. You allowed your desires to be what you follow, what you worship, basically, right? And this is where we have to realize that we can't do that. We need that guidance, and Allah did give us that guidance. Alhamdulillah, He did not leave us to our own selves. Not only did He give us that guidance in the form of the Quran and the Sunnah, He gave us a walking example of that Quran. So subhanallah, alhamdulillah for the gift of Islam. um Okay, so this means that we do, okay, hold on. Allah has given us our bodies as a trust, and that we actually just talked about that. Ya Rabbal Alameen. This means that we do have a level of autonomy over our bodies and must treat our bodies with respect as they are gifts from the Most High. This also means that we should not be using our bodies in ways that displease Him. Ostensibly, we have a choice, but we are also accountable, not to people, but rather to Allah Himself. Subhanallah. All right, so living with this name, I always like this part because the author reflects on, how what this means to us. After talking about okay, what the name means, how do we live with this name? What does it mean in a practical sense, right? So the first one is to take care of Allah's possessions. When we realize that everything is owned by Allah and He may do as He pleases, this includes ourselves and what we think we own. So take care of your money and use it in a way that is pleasing to Him by giving money to charity and important causes, right? And that's a very important reflection. And we kind of talked about that earlier, that everything we own belongs to Allah. And even given the money, again, what we give is what we own, right? So we have to spend it in a way that is pleasing to Allah. And by giving money to charity and important causes. Take care of your body by not using it for what He has prohibited and what He hates. Take care of the earth by cultivating it for good and not damaging it. Subhanallah. So it's far reaching, far, far reaching, Number two, nothing and everything is out of your reach depending on how you seek it. When we seek possessions through middlemen, they will always be out of reach because nothing is truly owned by people. When our mindset is one of belief that people are true owners, we may demean ourselves or act in unjust ways in order to reach that which we seek. Instead, we should seek things through the ultimate King by asking Him and working in the ways that He approves. I feel like this is a very important point because, the idea of earning halal means comes to mind because, like when people believe that somebody else can give them what they want, or maybe this job is what's going to be my sustenance, or maybe this person, then they'll do things, to please that person, or maybe just, live through haram means, because they've sincerely, believe that this is what's going to sustain them. But we have to remember that sustenance, Allah is our razak. Like his risk comes from Allah, sustenance comes from Allah, right? So trying to bow down to one person or one company or one thing, thinking that our sustenance is in those hands, is actually not having complete faith, because our risk is from Allah. And when you give up something that's haram for Allah's pleasure, Allah can give you even better. You just have to believe that that risk is in Allah's hands. And that's where it's hard. Like you have to believe that if you give up something for Allah's sake, that Allah is able and will replace it for something better. Because it's all, at the end of the day, it's all in his hands, so we have to really, really have that conviction to be able to let go, to be able to, not, try to bow down to other people, not try to live questionable, means, and things like that. So all of that goes back to our knowledge of Allah, right? And our relationship with Allah. Number three, be free. Al-Ghazali defines kingship as being free and able to dispense with everything. Thus, kingship in this world entails detaching ourselves from the passions of this world, which gives us true kingship in the next. Yeah, I can see, where he's going with that. Because if you're not attached to this world, you can focus on the hereafter, right? So yeah, I understand where he's going with that, or where she's going with that. Can you read? Okay, thank you. Thank you. Many of us are beholden. Okay, thank you. Many of us are beholden to our possessions, and we allow things and people to take ownership over our hearts. Realizing that Allah is the true owner enables us to work to be free of being owned by the material things of this world, by recognizing their temporary nature and the brief nature of our ownership, as well as the limited nature of their benefit. Subhanallah. Being free of being owned by material things of this world. I feel that is so profound. I mean, think about it. We think we own things, but many times those things actually own us, because we will do whatever we need to do to get those things. So in the end, who owns? Who's the king? Subhanallah. So I'm going to read that part again. Um, Realizing that Allah is the true owner enables us to work to be free of being owned by the material things of this world. Subhanallah. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people are actually in that cage where they don't realize it, that they're owned by their money, by their businesses, by those material things. So may Allah save us from that. Number four, remember that there is a day of judgment. This should cause us to know the true value of things. If someone has been given dominion over all possessions, this is not necessarily reflective of their value with Allah. Only their actions and internal state are. It behooves us to remember that we will not take any of our possessions to the next realm, only our deeds. Whew. I have to stop on this one. That's an excellent reminder. And this is why I love this book, because these are some key nuggets for us. That's a constant reminder that we have to remember, that we're not gonna take anything with us. You can't take it with you when you go. Oh, my kids used to love this song. You can't take it with you when you go. Yeah, really can't take it with you, So that focus should really, really be on getting ready for the hereafter, what comes after, because people, and that's some of the regret that people have the regrets that people have is when they spend most of their time focusing on material wealth. And then at the end of their life, they're like, okay, what did I gain? And sometimes that wealth is gone, and then they're left with like pretty much nothing, and no good deeds to show for it either, right? How many people do I know who are, PhDs and doctors and lawyers, and they only know like two or three surahs, right? I'm not trying to say that to diminish anyone. I'm trying to say that in the sense that people have different priorities, like we put more value and emphasis on the this world, and our doctorates and our, so we'll spend, so many years of our lives, doing our degrees and everything, which is great, but how much emphasis do we put on learning our deen? Is the point that I'm trying to make. Not to say that we should not, go after those things. We should, because we, as Muslims, we know that we can have ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة, right? We can have good in this world and good in the hereafter. And that's the dua we make every day. But we have to work on making sure that we don't let the seeking the dunya, over seeking the akhirah, So all the effort and fervor that we put into, getting the things of this world, we have to put as much, if not more, on the hereafter, So what elevates us in the hereafter? For example, our Quran, right? And this is for me first. Our Quran, because Allah says what, like, you will recite, you recite, and that's your level. Where you stop reciting is your level in paradise. How many of us take that to heart every day and make sure that we're, memorizing more? We're giving more to our Quran. We're going more to, learning the surahs, learning the hadith, learning the things that are gonna elevate our status in the hereafter, right? And giving it as much more time and as much effort as we're giving, the secular stuff, right? So it's a reminder for all of us, to just remember that, we need to be working hard for the next realm, right? All right, I'm going to stop here. Be patient with loss. The Prophet ﷺ advised his daughter whose child was dying, verily, whatever Allah takes is for him, and whatever he gives is for him, and everything with him has a fixed term. So she should be patient and hope for Allah, for a reward from Allah, right? So subhanAllah, whatever Allah takes is his. It was his to begin with. Whatever he gives us is his to begin with, right? So we just have to be patient. Just have to be patient and know that, all risk and everything comes from Allah. And whatever Allah gives us wasn't ours to begin with. We pretty much just like the holding it like the caretaker, basically. So it's interesting because at the end of the day, we're not really Malik of anything. We're not really Malik of anything. We're just like, we think we are. But if we really reflect, we're not. We don't really own anything. And that's the sad reality of, the whole thing, subhanAllah. Um, yeah, does anybody have anything to add to this? I'm gonna stop here, inshallah. Can you take note of the page for us, Sister Rauzia? I know we didn't get very far, but I feel like the things we did, get through are like were really, really important points. Good reminders, Alhamdulillah. What you think, ladies?
Good stuff.
Yeah, I like how many of the points tied into what we are talking about earlier, because we were just, kind of like having a conversation. But yeah, many, many important reminders, subhanAllah.
One of the points that really hit me was, and you've said this before, but I think it's fresh again in my head. How whether you decide as an individual to worship Allah or not, it doesn't take anything away from Him. And even if you don't do it, there are people who are doing it, right? And mashallah, some of us just came back from Umrah, and right, Sister Sharima or Sister Bala, anyone who's done this, Mami Morayo, you go to the Haram, either one of the Haram, Mecca, Medina, people are there busting their butts to worship Allah. SubhanAllah. If you do it, it's on you. If you don't do it, it's on you. There are people who will continue to worship Allah, whether you make excuses, I'm too tired to get up, I'm too weak to do this, all the excuses. There will always be folks who worship Allah continuously. And I don't know, that just resonated with me even more so, I guess, because I just saw it again. And I was like, wow. And any hour of the day, like literally could be 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. Everybody else is sleeping. There are people out there.
Mhm.
There are people out there. May Allah help us.
Amen.
Yeah, that help us refocus our intentions um
Yeah,
and not let us be so busy with this dunya, subhanallah.
yeah. SubhanAllah. Yeah, refocus our attention. I agree with you completely. And what you just said, Fauzia, is so true because at any time, because sometimes you want to do tawaf and you're like, oh, I'm gonna go at 2 a.m. There'll be no one. Wrong. It doesn't matter if it's 2 a.m. or 2 p.m. or 5 a.m. or 5 p.m. There are people worshiping Allah and subhanAllah, it's mind-blowing, It's mind-blowing and yeah. So, who are we to feel like our worship is some kind of gift to Allah, you know? Subhanallah.
Hmm.
Ya Rab. All right, ladies. Any other comments or questions or any, reflections? Because that's what really this is, just kind of reflecting on yeah, what's important basically. All right, well, I'm not gonna very sobering. I agree with you, there, Ayo, very. But we need these reminders because we forget. And that's one of the tricks of the shaitan because he makes us forget. He makes us like um just so entrenched in what we're doing that we forget, you know? Um, because it's a rat race, like we just throw ourselves into it and we act like we're gonna be here forever, right? Like, but the person who woke up today doesn't know if they're gonna be here in the evening. And yet we go after, everything like we just know, like I know I'm gonna be here 5 years from now, so I'm working for that. We don't. And that's the trick. That is the trick. That's the trick. And may Allah, help us to just have that remembrance, that realization that what's important is more being consistent with the things that are important. Our salah, our worship, our fasting, our extra rakas or whatever extra things that we can do, even if they're small, you know, and just make having the right intention. For example, we talked about earlier, I mentioned earlier about memorizing Quran. That's an intention that we can have. And even if we don't complete it, you know, Allah still rewards us for our intention, right? So, may Allah make us of those who, don't basically live to regret, people who take advantage of our time now, of our health, of our bodies, of our life, our youth, our life before our death, our youth before our old. This is not in the order of the hadith. I'm just remembering. So take care of. So my favorite hadith. Take care of five before five. Fazia knows. Take care of five before five, right? So just ending on this note again that we started with. So oh, I remember. So it's your life before, no, life is the end. So your
Health before sickness.
health. Okay.
Youth before, I don't know the order, but health before
Right.
sickness, youth before old age,
Mm-hmm.
wealth before, is it wealth?
Before poverty. Right. Wealth before
Um,
poverty. Your free time before you become busy.
free time. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Free
Your free
time,
time before you become busy,
uh,
and then your
and
life
then
before your
life
death.
before
Five
death.
before five. Yeah. So that's the
Man, it's like the youth and time go together. When you're young,
yeah.
you got the time. When you get older, oh yeah,
Yeah,
Allah.
I'm telling you, when you get up from the floor and you're groaning, it's like, what happened? I mean, I'm like, wait a minute, why am I groaning getting up from the floor? Like, what is going on? Yeah. So yeah, this is we gotta do, the all the hard work now while we still have our youth, and may Allah make it easy.
Ameen, ya Rab. Oh,
Alhamdulillah. All
yeah.
right, ladies. Um, sister. Okay, I don't know your first name. What's your sister T Lawal? I'm sorry, I'm putting you on the spot. Do you have any reflection for us? I'm looking at your picture. I'm like, mashallah, such a beautiful smile. I want to hear from you.
MashaAllah.
I don't. I'm a very shy person. I don't. And the T is for Taibat.
Oh, okay, mashallah. Nice to meet you, sister.
Uh,
If you don't want to say anything, that's fine. That's why I didn't hear your voice, mashallah. All right, we're gonna end here, inshallah. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik nashhadu an la ilaha illa ant nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Wal 'asr innal insana lafi khusr illa alladhina amanu wa amilus solihat tawasaw bil haqq wa tawasaw bis sabr. All right, ladies. We will have a quiz next halaqah, inshallah. And join us in 2 weeks, inshallah. Thanks for joining us today.